the reality is this. There is no horse in this field that comes close to the wet track profile of Autumn Glow. Like, it has a genuine 4 lengths on the competition. That's a lot, Ralphie.
Autumn Glow just in front. Seapoles is trying to make a race of it, but now she opens up the shoulders. Autumn Glow got a length clear. We're looking at greatness. Another chapter in this stunning career. Autumn Glow wins the Golden Eagle.
But when it comes down to the kick, Jimmy's always, I felt, has always had the edge on Briasa.
Jimmy Star moved up, took the lead away from Marzu, then Lady Shenandoah and Cole crushing it. Jimmy's clearing the Russell Balding. It's a big win for Jimmy Star.
Warney here has continuously had bad barriers for this horse. Inside. The one day he had an outside barrier. Might be a nice guy, the jockey up at the Sunshine Coast, but 5 wide throughout's a bit much of an ask. Tomorrow, Mark Zahra, he's got the perfect setup.
Warney wearing it down. Sue Sensation joined and headed by Warney. Warney wins it.
Yep. Pride and Jenny be 6 lengths in front of the in the Empire Rose. Oh, we've had some fun watching this horse, including when winning this race 2 years ago. We were punching there at the $16. Well, have we had a roller coaster with this great mare since?
If this horse has got a nice break at the 1,000 metre mark, 6 to 10 lengths, then good luck anyone trying to run it down.
200 metres to go. She's getting a little bit weary, but she's still 6 or 7 lengths in front of Michael Lucy. Pride of Jenny, stand up and cheer. This is going to be a famous win. A multiple winner of the Empire Rose. Pride of Jenny, you are a beauty.
Well, Batoon Freeman are just so good at targeting races. What he's shown is the ability to really let down up the straight, which he did first up.
Booming last 400, plus 7.7. Then second up in that last run, Ralphie, I felt the horse won. Didn't even get out of the gears.
Explodes through for Zahra. Took the front. Draws clear from Mike Adiola. 10 Tyrus is pounding away. And 10 Tyrus a spectacular win.
If no one takes on Zahra and he's allowed to control, then it's probably almost good night for everybody else.
He calls for Observer at the clock tower. How much left at the 200 metres? A length and a half mark. Order deal done fast. Observer, 100 to go. Prince's tooth. Left 3/4 our corner. Observer's holding them. He's the stronger. He's the winner. Observer won the derby.
And now on PG Podcast Network, it's time for the year-round carnival with Vince Accardi and your host, Racetrack Ralphie.
Yes, there were some local heroes yesterday. Mark Knopfler's worked there. Of course, Mark Zahra, he was a local hero, wasn't he, from Western Australia? He was an absolute star at Flemington. In Sydney, it was the J Mac Chris Waller show with the emerging star, as an emerging superstar, Autumn Glow. And, of course, Jimmy Star, the other star, did the right thing in the big race there. But we're going to focus on Flemington for today's year-round carnival podcast ahead of our podcast preview of Melbourne Cup Day. If you want to get that via my website, racetrackralphie.com.au, and you get Vince Accardi's runner-by-runner document on the big race. If you want to have a look at these internationals, there's only one place to go, one place to get it, and we talk about Vince Accardi from Daily Sexuals. Good morning, mate.
Ralphie, how are you, mate? This is unbelievable. How was that track yesterday?
Well, here's the thing. I actually did put this out this morning. Nice and electric. The best horses won. List of horses that pulled up saw in the Stewards Report, 0.
They should make the new policy, make all tracks G3. They'll hardly put hoses out, ever.
Japanese horses go okay, don't they? On horses? Oh,
Absolutely.
mate, please. Look, we may as well go race by race because obviously it's such the big meeting, and it's going to be in contrast to this week where the rain's going to dump down. And I know
Yeah.
you've done all your wet track form for the internationals, but let's start with the first race here. And as we discussed in the preview podcast, the one nagging doubt with Regal Award wasn't Regal Award. It was Chris Waller sets a horse every year for this race, and it was Panova. She made up significant ground in her lead-in win. She did again here, but oh, Vince, I wasn't expecting this pace. How fast did they go on Regal Award?
I was dumbfounded. 7.8 lengths above benchmark, Ralphie. That was quick, like really quick. And even the next horse was 6.6 west of Swindon. And I felt that's the actual pace was ridden off the third horse, in my opinion. Like that Prestige Olay was the real trendsetter. 5.6 finished out the back. This made it perfect for Panova, though. Oh, when I seen that, I was a little bit gutted because I was on Regal Award, Ralphie, and I just didn't realise they were going that fast.
And for context, and we'll get to Pride of Jenny, his first 800 metres was faster than Pride of Jenny's. Could you believe that?
Yeah, no, I can believe it. That happened. And that's just a testament also to the track, being a genuine G3.
The one thing, though, that actually makes my eyebrows raise, and I'm getting flashbacks to both Fangirl and Aliana, subsequent Group 1 winners with Panova. I'm sure that they, without looking it up, I'm sure they didn't run blistering overall time when they won this race, but they made up significant ground. They were ridden to finish off, typical Chris Waller type horse, and they went on with it. And Panova here, looking at your data, she's having this big slowdown from the 400 to 200 as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, overall, the performance was fantastic, Ralphie, for this horse. Whilst we were talking about how fast the pace was, this horse still travelled at a great pace. 2.2 lengths above benchmark early, 4.7 above between the 8 and the 4. And then, you're right, has the big slowdown between the 4 and the 2. Did that affect it from maybe making the margin bigger? I would say yes. For sure, Ralphie, maybe to the tune of at least 1 length. So it doesn't matter how you slice it in the end, this was the deserved winner. And even if they probably go a length slower, then what would have happened is Panova probably wouldn't have had this bigger slowdown between the 4 and the 2 and still would have got victory.
I can't help thinking, though, there's a real emerging talent, but he's a prep away in Regal Award. And one he learns to use your phrase, learns to relax and use his speed the right way, because really, if you stop the race at the 600 metre mark, he's going 10.8 lengths above benchmark. That's unsustainable, but it is a show of talent.
Yeah, a very big show of talent, Ralphie. And they obviously knew they were going really fast, Ralphie, hence the slowdown, coming to the turn, trying to save whatever energy you can. It's too late, right? It's just too late. I mean, you can see the horse still got 4.2 below last 200. As far as emerging talent, to be able to do what that did in this situation, lightly raced, go that fast, almost 7 lengths faster than it's ever gone in its history. I know it's only had a handful of starts, but even in the mid, it's at least a length better than it's ever done. Yeah, I feel this one, Stokey's got a good one. He's got definitely a good one.
Yeah, totally agree. Let's have a look at race 2 in the program here. What you were clear about on Saturday morning was this: is if they went at an orderly pace, this She's Alibi has got an electric turn of foot. It was a big day for Blinker's first time. The Blinker's first time went on her, and the one thing that was scratching at my brain was Peter Moody's got such a history of improving recruits, so it already had a profile of being able to show a turn of foot, and really she did it just in the last 200 metres when Luke Nolan was able to shove his way out.
Yeah, and it was fantastic as well, Ralphie. 2.4 lengths below benchmark early, the horse was travelling at. 1 length above benchmark between the 8 and the 4. Solid last 400, plus 4. Really, it was all done in the last 200 metres. And the intel giving indicators that we are set for more from this horse. So the 0.9 below benchmark, there's more to come. I don't know if it's going to come later, but there's definitely this. It's better than what I put on the clock on the weekend.
Race, we've said that phrase more to come about this horse Cabalas for a bit, including when he was a colt. When he won at Scone, it was a very, very big run and big win. It was just a one prep run though, and they put him out again, no doubt aiming at the spring. That was his first run as a gelding. This is his third. We put a big sizzler stamp on him, and he's gone on with it here. He was trucking at the 300 metre mark for Tommy Berry, and now that the data's come through, I can see why he hasn't let him go.
Yeah, and he was definitely a horse worth backing on the weekend. Overall, 13th best of the day, point 0.1 below benchmark. And you're right, Ralphie. He just let the horse rip over the last 400 metres. And there it is, plus 7.6 last 400 metres. 2.5 above between the 4 and the 2, and 5 lengths faster than the standard over the last 200 metres. Raw figures, the raw figures are only plus 1.5. Why? Because the first two split times were roughly combined 6 lengths below benchmark.
Oh, we'll get to the Coolmore just as a rough comparison. At the 400 metre mark, Cabalis would have been about 12 lengths off the lead in the Coolmore. So, difference in race shapes there.
Yeah.
Let's get to race 4. Well, get a good feeling. Looked like if you're interested in taking that price, it looked like picking money off the ground. And Danny O'Brien could not have asked for an easier race shape with a 5-day backup coming up.
And can you believe, that the setup was gold. 2.5 lengths below benchmark, first section. Didn't move between the 8 and the 4. It was almost the perfect ride. Last 400 metres, plus 1.8. Again, the majority of it really over the last 200 metres, Ralphie. Didn't really improve on his score, and it's mainly to do with those first two split times, Ralphie. The horse didn't have to run really hard through those two sections, and allowed this horse to probably run maybe 1.5 lengths below what it probably could have put down had it been asked for more through the first half of the race.
Race 5, and I was pretty happy with the horse named after the legend in Warney, and I was happy with Mark Zahra's ride too. As he said afterwards, he won a race named after the goat, Damien Oliver, and on a horse named after a goat, and Shane Warne. Zoo Sensation is a real tough bugger. Kept on delivering, but this was just riding perfection, wasn't it?
It was stunning, really. I mean, he was stunning. But mind you, in the race speed profiles, Roffy, he was like right up at the top of the charts. Zahra was going to have a big day. But the 7.9 above benchmark, last 400. Look how good horses can go when they've got clean ground with speed in it. They just accelerate. I just feel this is when horses are at their happiest.
Yes. And not just clean ground, clean air, because this horse had repeatedly inside barriers and duck and weave type rides. Mark Zahra middle barrier. Wow, chef's kiss.
Yeah, and then you have a look at it. Zoo Sensation put on a good tempo, 0.9 above, but not like crazy. And Warney was in the golden position, tagging it just under 4 lengths. Didn't have to overextend in between the 8 and the 4 to sort of put itself in the race. And that's, I guess, one of the main reasons why such a booming last 400 metres. But you've got to have ability to be able to do that, Ralphie.
Exudo, there was big money for it, no doubt with part of the weight drop, and he's won at Flemington. But I just kept looking at his profile. He's a miler, isn't he? I think that and in fairness to the stable, I think this is on his way to a mile. But I don't think he can run much better at 1400.
No, and when you look at the run before leading in, even though its first up run had good speed, that second run when you go 9.6 lengths below benchmark at 1,400 metres, and then all of a sudden you have to show speed. Sometimes it doesn't always work for you, Ralphie. But the way the horse closed out, last 400 plus 6.6, very, very positive. Now, is it better at 1,600 metres? I don't know if it's better, Ralphie, but it's at least as good. The beauty is this, though. The horse is still trending to a peak.
Nice. Let's get to the Coolmore. All right, firstly, which way did you go? You were Tentris or Baywalk? Which way did you end up going?
Ralphie, I ended up staying out of the race. So I can't say to you, I would have been on Tentris or I just stayed out. I was a weekie. I just said, nah, I'm not playing.
Well, I know you're cool when you stay out. You let the races unfold, so that's all right. So let's look at the numbers here, and this is a good sustained speed here, and what an explosion though! This was just dynamite. And one thing I always love saying, I say it on our preview podcast, it's such a good filter if you can just look at a horse that's from the time it walks into the yard to start its prep, it's got a big circle around its grand final, and this was training perfection from the Freedmans too, as well as riding perfection from Zahra.
Well, I hope someone takes him up early on the slot. Like for the Everest now. Yeah. Now someone should be putting their hand up now for this horse, like right now, not even mucking around. Because +4, Ralphie, for a horse that's had half a dozen starts, this is sensational. And look what it did. You got to look at the launch pad. Benchmark first section, smashed pretty much its history profile by about 5 lengths early, 2.8 above in the mid. Talk about the launch, right? That's the second fastest it's ever gone in the mid. And mind you, the time when it went faster, Ralphie, it was 7.5 lengths slower first section. And then, bang, last 400 metres +5.7. A little bit of a taper at the end. You can look at it in a few ways, but no matter what, this horse has got the screaming trend line of 6. We've uncovered a beauty.
We have. So the one problem, they've got the slot.
They've got the slot, have they?
Well, as far as the Blue Jackets owner slot, right? But I don't even know if he'll be racing by then, because he might go to Royal Ascot and then retire to the stud.
I forgot. Yeah, he got the C next to it. Oh, Jesus! Of course. But maybe next year, the average is 25 million, 30 million.
I was just thinking. I thought, as much as they make it started, it is plenty. At least that amount of money is something to think about.
Yeah.
So
superstar.
And the other thing, yep, I saw on Twitter a guy called Mitch. He put out that when they're saying about Royal Ascot, he said, "Gee, if you think Ascora was a good a good sprinter, wait till you see this bloke."
True.
Oh my goodness, Mike Gladiola, you made a good case for her, and she's run to her absolute best. And as I said on the preview pod, I couldn't find a ride for Jamie Mott at that weight since 2007. So he starved himself silly, and no wonder he had faith in the filly, because she's delivered too.
Yeah, and this horse is also such a lightly raced horse and got plenty of talent, Ralphie. Overall +2, new PB, had to work hard through the first section. Mind you, 0.4 above, not too much out of the range, nowhere near as explosive as what Tetris had to do for the first time, but still very good. 2.2 lengths above benchmark, 8 to the 4. Solid last 400 metres with a +4. Well, the reality is it is definitely genuinely a couple of lengths behind Tetris, but this is a very good filly.
And we've got to give a bit of a tick to this Legacy Bound, don't we? Because he was factually the best on pacer and able to really tough it out well. Okay, 1.1 is just fair. It's probably good enough to win, or at least be, top 2 in many years, but we've got a serious colt. And the fact that he was able to hang on in that such, real solid first 800 speed is a big tick for him.
Yeah, gutsy. First of all, top 5 for the day, +1.1. Did it tough, like super cruising horse. The writing's on the wall. +2.5 early, +2.3 in the mid. A little bit of a dip that came in from the 4 and the 2, so probably unfair overall. Maybe there could have been another half length just on that performance if it was a little bit smoother in the energy distribution, but only had a handful of starts, Ralph. This is quality horse.
And what'd you learn from Bewak? I did make the point, and was just ignoring me. It's old school, but some old school thinking does stand the test of time. And that was, he had such a bigger grand final, and he was only $9 in that Golden Rose. In other words, he's completely surprised everyone's expectations when he was so stunning. He had to, as good a trainer as Chris Waller, great trainer as Chris Waller is, he had to keep the super up for, keep eating it for another 5 weeks.
Yeah, it was interesting. Before that race, now I stayed out, Ralphie, but he was a really big signal. They asked J-Mac in Sydney, about, not be disappointed not on BWAC, and who would you, what are your thoughts? And he just said what we said. Well, if he reproduces what he did then, that last start, he's the one to beat. But he liked Beedman. Now, I just thought that was interesting that he made that comment. So what happened? The horse didn't deliver that. It's hard, Ralphie. It still had to go hard. First section, 2.8. Held it in the mid. Just didn't have the same finish. Now, it is 200 metres less, but the horse couldn't throw it down like it did the run before. obviously it peaked, Ralphie, and it wasn't able to re-peak. And this can happen.
Absolutely. We see it a lot. Well, the peak horse was Observer, and your final summation, which we played at the start in that intro, was I just think Mark Zahra's going to go to the front and own it. It actually reminded me in an Oaks about 14 years earlier, Danny Nikolic on Machine. Just sometimes, if you're on the best horse, it is a good thing to do. Make sure you haven't got slow horses in front of you.
Yeah, and Zahra's also super confident in himself when he goes to the front.
Yes.
He's okay with it. It doesn't bother him. Where a lot of riders do get bothered by that if they've got to go to the front because that's the type of horse it is. He went to the front and said, we'll do what we'll need to do. And there it is, 5.9 lengths below benchmark. He's pinned the golden speed. Also, the mid, look at the mid, Ralphie. Only a 7.8 length mid-race squeeze. That's so important to ensure you have got something in the tank at the end. 1.9 above between the 4 and the 2. Didn't quite hold the line over the last 400 metres. I felt that he was trying to do a little bit of a Nash coming around that bend, just trying to ease up that energy and then go for the last acceleration. He was too good, Ralphie. One length below benchmark overall, but he was too good.
We're here to spitball. It's part of the fun of this caper. I'm guessing this will be this horse's last ever distance run. He'll be a miler from here on in. What's your thoughts there?
Oh, Ralphie, with all this money that goes around and the things that happen, you just don't know. But yes, does the mile look like the place to be? Possibly, but maybe even 2,000, Ralphie. Maybe even 2,000.
NMO Cox Plate type.
Yeah.
Type situation. Yep. Cora. Oh, Vince. I really say this. I'm just going to say this. It's about 6 weeks ago. I had a little play on him at $26 and $7 the place.
Right.
Yesterday it was $100. Had $19 the place, and he's loomed up. He finally had clear air, the poor bugger. So, well done to the Buston and Young. Again, this is the fault, the good filter, because when he won that race in July, he was set for the Derby, and he was able to sole focus. But he also was in that strike zone, whereas some of these other horses that were in the market, like Miwa and Autumn Mystery, and particularly Providence, they were just asked to do the impossible with those squeezes.
Yeah, and that's so important. Beautiful position. Tagging the lead speed 3 lengths. Strong move in the middle with the horse, 3.8 lengths above benchmark, Ralphie. That's like he smashed any of his past PBs. And still to be so gutsy over the last 400 with the +2, that's a fair effort. I guess the overall score, Ralphie, 1.7 below. I don't know what we do.
What do you do?
You were lucky.
Oh, of course. But, well, lucky, unlucky. I was an idiot. I should have backed it again yesterday.
but do you have something for a place?
No, that's what I'm saying. I had $7 the place 6 weeks ago, and yesterday it was $19 the place.
19. Jesus.
Anyway, not about me. It's about what the numbers say. So really, what the numbers scream is that Autumn Mystery, Miwa, even Providence, they just had zero chance on that by the 800 metre mark where they were.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you've got to start putting in 3-4 second squeezes over 400 metres, and that's just to put yourself in the race, what are you going to have left? It's not like you're a dour stayer and you've had plenty of experience and you're fully mature. They're just not going to have the strength to be able to finish. So, yeah, too far back, but this is what happens. It got caught in the web. Got caught in the Zahra web. He said, I'll go and control it. Everybody will be orderly. And they all were. No one even challenged at any point, Ralphie, ever in the race.
Let's get to the superstar pride of Jenny. Vince, I've been a racing fan all my life, which means back to the early 80s. I've been working with you for, about a dozen years. You've been looking at your numbers since the late 80s. I don't think we've ever seen a horse like this, have we? An 8-year-old mare doing this? This is crazy.
Well, it wasn't an impossibility. We knew that.
No, not yesterday. I'm just saying in general, a horse to be able to just keep delivering like it does, phenomenal.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. There was Bo Rogue, Ralphie.
But he was doing it at 4 and 5. This horse emerged at 6 and now 7. Had a bleed last spring and still doing it. Exactly. Good fun. What do you make of it yesterday?
Yeah, impressive, Ralphie. Really super impressive. I felt that's roughly the speed the horse would go. I thought it would go out maybe +6, went out +7.2. Beautiful. The big thing is when the Jenny's back. Look at the mid, Ralphie. +5.1. That was shut the door. That was shut the door in the competition. That one decisive move where, number one, there wasn't the +12 early, allowed the horse to have that strong +5 in the middle. And it just, I don't want to say the others weren't good enough because to some extent they weren't. But the reality is you cannot give this horse a dozen lengths head start and then they're running that solid. Because, I mean, the mid average, the AFS, Ralphie, was 5.8. That was the average field speed between between the 800 and the 400. And this horse, prior to Jenny, was going 5 lengths above benchmark. So, in other words, for anybody to be genuinely a chance of winning, they would have had to put in mid-race moves that probably, you're right, maybe no one could do it. Maybe it's not possible to find 20-length mid-race move off that speed.
It's just, I just shake my head. It's just absolute marvelous what she's able to do. And yeah, and look, you did say that on is it the Friday or Saturday that if he puts the hammer down and he's already going fast, it's just a good luck situation there. Like a Lucy. Actually, sorry, I just want to ask you one more question. When she won this race 2 years ago, and we punched her home because it was she that was her first time. She was actually prior to Jenny to everyone else. But you know, we saw what she did at Mooney Valley 2 starts earlier. We thought she was a great value at $16. But when she won this race, so October 2023, wasn't she going like 16 lengths above benchmark? The point being, she's phenomenal speed yesterday, but she was going 9 lengths slower than when she first won this race.
Yeah, and this is just such a big difference, Ralphie, in the horse and the ride. You know, if they keep doing this horse going to be around for another year. And it's going to keep delivering. I mean, look at the score. 4.2 above, Ralphie. It's outstanding.
It is. So, like a Lucy has run second. Again, I'm getting flashbacks from Pride of Jenny's first win when J Mac rode a tissue and rode the perfect race, but just it was an impossibility to catch her. I think Mark Zahra's ridden the perfect race here, and the reason I want to say that is because when Tissue ran second in Pride of Jenny, she then won the following week when they backed her up. And I think if they back Like a Lucy up next Saturday in that 2,000 mares race, good luck beating Viestina if they go to the other one, but which I doubt they will. But if they go to the 2,000 matriarch, I assume it's still on the final day. I haven't checked the calendar, but it's probably the perfect run for her.
Well, if that's the case, I would say yes, because realistically, to be able to have been able to challenge Pride of Jenny yesterday, you had to, that horse had to be running around benchmark, and it was running 3.9 below. Now, that saves a run for sure, like you just said now, Ralphie. Going 3.9 below versus benchmark's a massive difference because in the middle, the horse went 6.3 above, really gutsy, 2.5 above last 400. And mind you, the horse tanked out over the last 200 metres. It actually decompressed, lost velocity, giving a signal. Now, I don't know how this happens, Ralphie, but giving a signal, the horse actually needed to run.
Well, all right.
So this could confirm what you just said about the 2,000 metres.
All right, let's keep an eye out for that. And in the last race there was a bit of money for this New York Class Star. Blinker's first time. I've got to say, I was cheering a couple others for the quaddie. A couple didn't turn up. Flying for Fun ran a good race. But in the end, I think what our summation with Arabian Summer was right, that she, was wound up to start her prep. There wasn't much to give. Whereas the money for New York Cluster suggests that they finally got her right again. She's not beyond talent, but really the numbers say this was actually quite a modest sort of race on the clock.
Yeah, I mean, overall, it did break benchmark, which is good news. You've got to look at it like this, Ralphie. The horse still managed to get into the top 10 for the day. So there's some merit there. Now, was it the setup of the race that created this massive last 400? And perhaps that ground continuing with a bit more speed? It's possible, but 2.7 lengths below benchmark and the 1.6 below between the 8 and the 4 did allow this horse to have every possibility to put down the best last 400 that it could. And that's what it did. Plus 7.1, Ralphie. Not many horses broke 7 lengths above benchmark for the last 400, not just in this race, but all day.
Yep. It was it was definitely sound
Yeah.
right. And I suppose the point I'm making is that horses who are proven to be better than that, like Stretton Angel and She's Bulletproof, they just didn't turn up. So in the end, the winner gets the spoils.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes the trainers, isn't it, Ralphie? Isn't it?
That's it. Anyway, so that's our review of Fleming, and we really appreciate you for having a listen. I hope you enjoyed the insights there. What we're going to do for the big two races at Randwick there, which was of course the Golden Eagle and the Russell Boarding, won by Jimmy Starr and Autumn Glow. We're going to do that as the members bonus podcast because we ain't here without our members. You don't hear corporate bookmaker ads on this podcast because we've got no affiliation with them. We're only here because of our members. If you want to get the review podcast of those two big races and other podcasts going forward, just click through the links on my website, racetrackralphie.com.au, and become a member, Group 1 member, $25 a month. We send out bonus podcasts most weeks, and we do it thanks to Vince Accardi's daily sectionals. And if you want all the big previews coming up, including his race speed profiles, go there. And there's going to be a huge meeting on not just in Melbourne at Flemington, obviously for Cup Day, but Randwick as well. Thanks so much for listening to Year Round Carnival.